Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Um, Today I am going to be making a gift basket. One of my co-workers, nephews, uh, just was recently admitted to the hospital about a week or so now, and um, they did emergency surgery for a tumor. So we're waiting on the results if it comes back, if it's cancerous or not. And I am going to be making a mental health care package, um, for my coworker and her sister, the mother of the child. And I can't imagine everything that the mom is facing. I can't imagine what the child is facing because he's 16. You know, you have a whole life to live. So you guys may see me move around, you may see me pause, you may see me get distracted a little bit, but I am making the package while I talk. So, wanted to talk today, just a little personal about mental health. And it's not being discussed a lot. Everybody is so proactive on everybody needs mental health, or everybody is crazy, or everybody else needs psychological help, but nobody faces and deal with their own trauma, their own reasoning for the things that they did. So I think we scratched the surface of mental health. However, we don't talk about the root cause: childhood trauma, rape, incest. So we don't talk enough about what causes the mental health. Mommy daddy issues, abandonment issues. I feel everyone is affected by mental health some form of fashion. Your stress, the way the economy and the prices of everything is rising, you can't afford to pay Paul, even pay Peter, for a lot of things. And everybody is putting on a front that nothing is wrong, because the stigma of mental health is they're crazy, I'm not crazy, because I'm floating above water, I'm maintaining, I'm surviving, so nothing is wrong with me. Everybody wants to come out with the narcissist, toxic words, but no one is taking accountability for their own health and their mental well-being. So I want to get a little deeper if I can. So let's go with this quick disclaimer. I am not a mental health professional. I do not diagnose. I do not see patients. I am in school for behavior specialist. My business is about mental health, but I am not a licensed professional. So if you feel as though you need to seek professional help, you can leave comments of your information, and I can help you get mental health services. So I want to dive a little deeper. I told you I was going to get sidetracked, right? So I want to dive a little deeper. Childhood trauma. Let's just say you have a child who's facing childhood trauma, and the parent don't think that the child needs mental health. They think the child is okay and functioning. Well, later on down the line, as the child becomes adult, you're wondering why you're thinking you're raising your child one way and the child goes left, because you're not taking mental health as serious as their physical health. And I'm going to back it up with a story. I'm not going to go deep into mines, but I'm going to scratch the surfaces. At 16, I witnessed my father's murder. And some people would say you're airing out your dirty laundry, you're airing out your business. And being an advocate for mental health and coming across all walks of life, I see, I know, and I hear, and I talk to people that been through similar stories, if not worse than mine. And then when I hear someone that actually understands what they're going through or has been through it, it's like a whole light and weight been lifted, because the whole time they're growing up, no one understands the stuff that I went through. So when we talk more about it, it becomes more of an opening eye. Like I said, I witnessed my father's murder at the age of 16. And I did have issues back then. And growing up in the 90s, I'm an 80s baby. Growing up in the 90s, mental health wasn't talked about enough. You know, you have that crazy uncle, that crazy aunt or cousin that everybody knew in the family. And it's, oh, that's Aunt Sally. Don't worry about her. That's who she is. Not realizing Aunt Sally has issues. She might have been raped. She might have witnessed hard knock life outside in the streets. So, you know, we bypass those things growing up. So at the age of 16, I witnessed my father's murder, and also having a gun pointed to me as well. That same gun, I watched my father being murdered. So at 16, so many different emotions are arising. So many things are coming up. And all you thinking as a 16-year-old is, I need love. And you're going to different family members searching for that love that you once had or what you yearn for. No one understands what that felt like, because I wanted it from a specific person. I wanted that love from my parent that I could not have. So, you know, at that time I had a boyfriend. So I'm chasing this love, or what I thought was love, because I missed it in my father. I wanted it in my father, but I had this relationship, and I thought this person completes me. I wasn't a whole person until I was around this person. I didn't care how much trouble I got into, I wanted this person in my life. And then every time this person did something to chase the feeling of not thinking about my father, the murder, and what me and my boyfriend is going through, I started drinking. And I started drinking to the point where I drank to sleep, just to go to sleep, because I didn't want to think. So every time I came down, I'm either doing something malicious, doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm doing impulsive acts because I wasn't taught that to talk about your feelings. Everything was told, bottle it up. So when I say childhood trauma, you gotta face these things, because as you get older, you start to pour those baggage into every relationship, every friendship, and every family, and you're like wondering either why nobody wants to be around you, or two, you're blaming everybody else and not taking accountability of why you are the way you are. So it wasn't until I had my daughter when I realized I needed to make changes in my life. I'm not perfect. And So I made changes in my life, and I started thinking clearly of the things that I want. The whole time, I still needed help, not realizing that all I was doing was putting a band-aid on everything that I was brought up with, everything that I saw, everything that I was taught, and not understanding that I needed help. I refused help because I didn't think nothing was wrong with me. No one actually sat down and talked to me and actually explained to me why I needed help. First thing comes to my mind is, you think I'm crazy? I can do this on my own. I don't need no help. So it wasn't until my daughter changed me. I still had little ways, but my daughter changed me. It wasn't until I had my son. And when I tell you, did they say your children come back? What you've done, and you see it in your children, you see it in your children. I love my son dearly. But it wasn't until I had my son and I realized that, holy cow, I need to change my ways. So, my son, I love him dearly. I love my baby. He helped me to grow patience. So it wasn't until he was 5, and he almost got expelled from school for fighting a teacher. Before that, I was getting calls from school, come get your son, getting calls from daycare, come get your son. I'm like, I just dropped him off 25 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago. They're like, yeah, he was fighting. Come get him. Yeah, he was biting. Come get him. I'm crying. Tears rolling down my face. I'm putting holy oil on him, trying to cast out the demon. I'm using all tactics and antidotes like I was growing up. Praying over him in the corner, just crying, in the shower, just crying, because I don't know what is going on. Not realizing, at the time I had 2 jobs, not realizing that my son is facing what I was facing. They yearn for a parent's attention. And us single parents, sometimes 2-parent household, we think that we're providing for our child by having 2, 3 jobs, doing what we're supposed to do. Yeah, we're providing for them. We are not there for them physically, which leaves them to yearn for attention other places. I'm not telling you what to do with your household. I'm not telling you what you should and should not do. This is a story about me and only me, and how I come to the realization. So I realized that, one, me working 2 jobs, I'm leaving my daughter to watch my older daughter, 4 years apart, to watch my son. Because growing up, that's what we were taught, right? We was taught that the older sibling's supposed to watch the child, right? Yeah, that's fine and dandy, not all the time. Mommy has to go to work. You watch your brother. Yeah. Next thing you know, I hear, sit over here. Don't do that. Sit down. Why you eating it like that? Oh, you're not his mother. Not realizing my daughter had already been prepped before teenage, and she's a mother. Because I left her that responsibility, not as a bigger sister, but to be a mother figure for her younger brother. That's one side. Second side, for my son, when you coming home? I'm about to go to the other job. Okay. not realizing that's a silent cry that my son wanted attention. So he picked up this notion that the only time I see my mommy is when I get in trouble. When I get in trouble. So I'm about to start acting up in school because that's the only time I get to see my mommy. I didn't grasp that. I'm thinking, wait, what's going on here? What's wrong with this boy? He didn't develop a negative behavior because he yearned for that attention. And that's the only way he knew how to get attention from his mother. He couldn't get it from his father. His father wasn't around. So that's the only way he can get that attention is to act out. Beating him, chastising him, standing him in the corner. Yeah, that works for the moment. But after a while, psychologically, that child picks up that negative cognitive and like, holy crap, that's the only time she talks to me? Holy crap, that's the only time she's around me? Alright, well, let me do something else. And they start thinking that's love. They start picking up that as love. So I get, to a certain degree, the gentle parenting. It's a healthy balance. I'm telling you, it's a healthy balance. And I didn't pick that up until he was a teenager. So, you know, the diagnosis. He was almost expelled from school. And to one of the administrators said, let's refer him to a day psychiatric school to observe him to see if, you know, he has mental health issues or it's just, you know, it's just him. For 3 months, he was going to this school and they evaluated him, come back and said that he has ODD, ADHD, and mood disorder. What? Growing up, we didn't know them alphabets. He's just bad. So they said we're going to put him on Adderall. They said we're going to put him on Adderall. Alright, whatever. Didn't know that he was evaluating him after he finished. So they're like, Miss Harley, he's taking his medication. I said, you sure? Well, we was on a closer observation, and I think we might have to keep him overnight for further observation. Oh, y'all think my baby crazy. Alright, let's take this medication. Not being educated enough to know the side effects and the precautions of my child having to take this medication. Again, what works for your household works for your household. I'm not telling anybody what not to do. I am simply addressing the root cause of mental health. So, like, all right, let's take this medication. Fought with my son almost 12 years to take this medication. It hurt me to my heart because when he took this medication, as a 8-9-year-old that should be playing, he's like this. James, you want to play? No. But his mind, you can see his eyes is racing because he wants to move, but his body is stuck. That hurt me. Because I'm like, my baby is missing out on childhood. But the school officials is like, yeah, he can take his medication today. Gotta run to school, take his medication. Because that's the only way they can teach a child is if the child is sedated enough for them to teach the class. I don't have nothing against teaching. So it wasn't until COVID where he was 13. He had turned 13 in the midst of COVID. And when schools were open back up for them to go back in, he voiced his opinion of, I don't want to take this medication. Now, my son is smart. Smart as a whip. He knows the system. his ears is to the system all the time. My son had help. He had wraparound services. He had mobile therapy. He had school therapy. He had a psychologist. He had a psychiatrist. So my son had a lot of help. So when he turned 18 and the school opened back up, he voiced his opinion that he did not want to take medication. What? I fought with him for 6 weeks straight to make him take this medication. I went to the school, even got the school officer involved to try to make him take his medication. They say, ma'am, he's 13. By law, we can't force him to do anything. What? He under my roof. He's on my health insurance. I pay for everything. How is it that by law I can't make my child take or do what he needs to do, especially when he has mental health issue? So he's able to make this conscious decision that he can roam around free and be a terrorist or do whatever he wants and think there's no consequences? So when reality check hit, Freddie Gray, Miss Bland, Amon, George Floyd, and the other guy that was in the car and got pulled over for the busted tail light or out tail light, and he was reaching for his gun license. Yeah. So I'm saying here, reality check. Holy cow. My child can be walking around here free, do something by accident, an impulsive decision. He can't say, sorry officer, I didn't take my medication, or sorry officer, I have a mental health issue. They're not going to think about that. Let's be for real what I'm trying to say. They're not going to think about that. So I'm fearful now for my 13-year-old son, because all this is happening in the world, and all I can think about is my son is coming off of medication that he's been taking since 5, now 13. And when I tell you, when he's hyperactive, he's on 1,000, and it's hard for him to come back down. So I had to do research. I had to figure out what stabilizes his mind, what keeps him entertained other than video games. We do gardening. My son now loves cooking. He wants to be a chef. I said, come on, we're ready to go in the kitchen. We're going to teach you some things. He loves cooking. He loves arts and crafts. I'm trying to get him to journal write. That's a little hard. Still working on that. But it's a lot of things that stabilizes his mind. And that's part of my business, because I wanted to be an advocate for mental health. Not because of just making money, but I know what parents go through with a child that is not the same as the rest of the world. And to fully try to understand the root cause, I didn't want to admit it. Like, they always say mental health, you're born with it. Sometimes mental health is not born with it. It's the root cause. And I'm not placing full blame because he has 2 parents. But I will take accountability and say, at that time, all I could think about, I'm providing for my child. I'm not going to say all his mental health stemmed from his parents. There may be some genetics. There are some genetics. But you got to still look at the root cause, so you can make changes, so you can make the future better, and not just sweep it underneath the rug or think medicine is going to just take it all away, because medicine leads to other things leads to more things. So light went out. Been in here too long. So, I just want to discuss that. By the way, I've been finished the gift basket a long time ago. This is a small gift basket, and I just wanted to do something nice for her. And I didn't. I feel as though, going through those things that she's going through, my co-worker sister, sitting in the hospital day in, day out, trying to make sure your child is okay, and sometimes you leave yourself out. And, I just wanted to do something nice that, brings a little bit of warmth and let her know that, she has people that stand by her and that cares about her. And now we have, like I said, this narcissist and toxic relationships. But everybody looks at other people. Oh, you toxic. I don't want to deal with it. So what's your treat? What's your treat? Everybody has some type of treat. What's your treat? They're toxic. Their toxicity is they might not call you when you want them to call you. However, what's your toxic trait? You may be just their toxic trait is that they don't call you when you want them to call you. But your toxic trait may be that you sit here and you gossip. Some people don't like gossiping. Your toxic trait may be that you, instead of you ghosting someone, you might talk to them the wrong way. And you might take it as you're just joking with them. Everybody has a toxic trait. You just pick and choose. But at the same time, you can't just keep pointing the finger. Everybody else is toxic. Everybody else is toxic. I am healed. You can be healed all you want. Let someone stand in front of you and say something out the way. Are you going to walk away? Or you going to curse them out? You're going to, more times than another, you're going to curse them out because it's a trigger. A lot of people don't want to deal with their triggers. It's a lot of things that trigger a person. You can be healed on the outside, but let somebody do one thing that reminds you of your past, PTSD. That unhealed person that you try to cover will soon come out. So I'm gonna leave that for right now. I just wanted to talk to you guys and to share some things with you guys. But I'm a private person, and it don't seem like I'm a private person, but I'm really a private person. It took a lot for me to start this YouTube channel, because I feel like that era of me growing up, somebody's going to talk about me, somebody's going to say negative things about me. The whole world is going to know my story, and it's going to be a bunch of backlash. But then on the other hand, it's like, I'm all for mental health and we need to talk about it. But that stigma that's still standing there, because that's how I was brought up. What goes in my household stays in my household. Which is true indeed. It's fine and dandy, because everything don't need to be aired out. However, some things needs to be talked about. And I didn't tell you too much of nothing, but I want someone to relate to the trauma. So if you like this video, please, by all means, like, subscribe, share. Until next time, have a happy holiday, and we'll see you again.